Hello and welcome to another video with dee'stuition. Welcome to my Romeo and Juliet series where I will give you 5 key quotes for characters that should get you through any exam question that you are given. Today's 5 quotes are going to be for Romeo and Montague. Let's get into it. So the first quotation is taken from Act 1, Scene 1, and it's shortly after we meet Romeo, and it reads, "Tut, I have lost myself. I am not here. This is not Romeo. He's some other where." So Romeo's talking to Benvolio at this point, and his use of short sentences really highlight how dramatic Romeo is. This quotation really shows you how much Romeo values love, how important it is to him. As a result of Rosaline not being interested in his advances, he is saying that he doesn't know who he is anymore. He has completely lost himself. Where he says things like tut, it kind of gives this impression that he is extremely immature. He is so upset about the fact that this woman will not give him the time of day, or this girl even though they're not in any sort of romantic relationship. And this quotation also serves at how much at the very beginning of the play, Romeo is inactive. He is not proactive when it comes to love at all. He's just expecting everything to come to him. So where he's saying, I'm not here, this is not Romeo, he's completely lost himself in his feelings for Rosaline. So really, really good introduction to Romeo as a character. The next quotation is when he first sees Juliet at the ball in Act 1, Scene 5. And it reads, "Did my heart love till now, forswear its sight, for I ne'er saw true beauty till this night." Now, this is a really, really important quotation again, because this is the moment where he sees Juliet and he uses that rhetorical question, "Did my heart love till now?" Now, we know just a few short scenes ago, he was absolutely in a kind of situation where he was desperately upset because Rosaline did not want him and he swore that he was in love with her. However, now he's using this rhetorical question, "Did my heart love till now?" which suggests that he never truly loved Rosaline in the very first place. Alternatively, it could suggest that the love that he has for Juliet is so powerful that it's overpowered any love that he'd ever had before. So this kind of solidifies the idea of Romeo and Juliet being meant to be, and the fact that their love is so strong and so pure, which of course unfolds in all the other events in the play. Then Romeo goes on to say, "I ne'er saw true beauty till this night." Now, again, we've got this semantic field of looks, this semantic field of outward appearance. Romeo seems like he is extremely, or places extreme importance on beauty, outward beauty. And he talks about this here with Juliet. He spoke about it earlier on in Act 1, Scene 1 about Rosaline, but he's saying here that he doesn't feel like he's ever seen anybody as beautiful. The fact that he's focusing on the beauty, we could argue that this love that he feels for Juliet is superficial and based on outward appearances only. So the third quotation is from Act 2, Scene 3. Now, Act 2, Scene 3 is a really important scene because it's the scene where Romeo goes to Friar Lawrence and begs him to marry him and Juliet. So it's a really, really important scene because it is a pivotal moment within the play. If this did not happen, if this conversation didn't happen and the marriage didn't take place, then many of the other actions and many of the other instances would not have taken place in the play. So it reads, "We met, we wooed, and made exchange of vow. I'll tell thee as we pass, but this I pray, that thou consent to marry us today." So first of all, you've got that asyndetic listing. We met, we wooed, and made exchange of vow. And actually, by listing those 3 things, it again highlights the speed at which this relationship between Romeo and Juliet has developed. It's so, so fast. They're not slowing down at all and really not taking that time to think about what they're doing. And it shows how impulsive Romeo and Juliet are, but particularly Romeo, because he's the one that's kind of run off to Friar Lawrence to organise this wedding and organise this marriage. He uses the verb pray, where he says, "But this I pray," and that shows how serious he is about wanting to marry Juliet. Of course, we know that Elizabethans were extremely religious, and the fact that he says that he's praying that Friar Lawrence will marry them just shows that he sees this as something that is ordained by God. He sees this as something that God would want, and he's seeking that validation by, of course, making vows with a priest underneath the watchful eye of God. And again, Romeo's using romantic language, everything's rhyming, and it highlights again just the fact that Romeo is completely obsessed with love. He speaks in a love language, he speaks in a way that suggests that he loves this thing. And just throughout the whole play, his focus always seems to be love. The fourth quotation is from Act 3, Scene 1. Now, in this scene, this is where, unfortunately, Romeo has made the decision to kill Tybalt after Tybalt kills Mercutio. Now, where he says, "Oh, I am Fortune's fool," this links really closely with the theme of fate that runs through the whole of the play, and this idea that Romeo and Juliet were never going to end up in a positive situation. Where he says, "I'm Fortune's fool," what he's basically saying is he's always making the wrong decisions, and those wrong decisions play into Fortune's hand, they play into fate's hand. Where he's got this exclamatory sentence as well, "I am Fortune's fool," it links with the idea of him being a tragic hero. Underneath the definition of Aristotle's tragic hero, this idea that he just can never quite get it right. He's a character that we want to love, but unfortunately, he continues to make mistakes continuously, and those mistakes always put him in a position that is negative. The final quotation that I've got for Romeo is from Act 3, Scene 3, "'Tis torture and not mercy, heaven is here where Juliet lives, and every cat and dog and little mouse, every unworthy thing, live here in heaven and may look on her, but Romeo may not." Now, at this point, Romeo is completely distraught because of the fact that he has received the news that he has been banished from Verona as a result of him killing Tybalt. Now, first of all, he uses Verona as a metaphorical heaven, and he talks about Juliet as if she is an angel. And you've got this sense of idolatry here, which again would be very important in a religious society such as the one that Elizabethans lived in. And he seems to really worship Juliet. And when he talks about the fact that heaven is here where Juliet lives, he really puts her on a pedestal. And we see that throughout the whole play, right up until the end of the play as well. We've got this idea that Juliet makes him unable to see things clearly and with clarity, because where he should be happy about the fact that he has been banished rather than killed, which is what the prince had threatened from the very beginning of the play, instead of being grateful for that, all he can see is the fact that he is being taken away from Juliet, or Juliet is being taken away from him. Where he talks about and every cat and dog and little mouse, he's basically saying that he's jealous of these animals because they get to live in a space and breathe the same air as Juliet. So you can see at this point really how his love for Juliet has really kind of taken over completely, and it's not allowing him to see anything with clarity. And of course, that links really well with all of the actions that he takes after this, leading up to his death in Act 5. So that's all your 5 quotes for Romeo, Montague. Those 5 quotes should prepare you really well for any exam question that you get. Please check out my other videos on the other characters in 5 quotes as well. Go back, listen to the video again, take notes where you'd like to, use the quotations, shorten them if you need to, and just do your best to learn them so that you're in a really good position to have quotations ready for any exam question that you may come across in both your mocks and in the summer series next year. As ever, please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.